Hey everybody, I want to give a little introduction to the study of personality types to those who are newcomers and don't know anything about personality types in people. In this video, I want you to think of everything I say not as a collection of facts, but as a way of seeing things. You, you, you have probably heard of MBTI since you're watching this video. If you're new to MBTI though, I recommend you walk away from it. Not that it's useless or anything like that, but that it'll waste a lot of your time trying to learn it and make use out of it. When your time and effort are better spent elsewhere, which is basically the purpose of this video, basically. MBTI is short for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, which means that it's technically a test that, if you take, will indicate what your type is. It's based off of Carl Jung's psychological types, but it doesn't work. That's a problem. It doesn't work. The test is never really reliable or consistent. It's like the results of the tests isn't really consistent. It's not really reliable in your life, especially if you try to use it on other people. Not to mention that lumping humanity into 16 boxes doesn't work at all. Personality is a very complex thing. Not all people who belong in one of those 16 boxes are identical. It just doesn't work that way. Carl Jung's Psychological Types is a book by the psychologist Carl Jung called Psychological Types. Yeah, it was sometime in the early 20th century, I think, so it's not very, very new. I mean, the book itself, but it's not ancient, and it's authentic. I would say it's authentic and it's real. Let's say, while MBTI, it's more modern and new, but it's kind of bullshit. The book's Psychological Types by Carl Jung, it doesn't talk about personality types. It talks about psychological types, and they're not the same. Psychological types is a radically different thing from personality types. I'm not going to get too much into it, but basically your only good source for learning this is Carl Jung's book itself. Just to give you a warning, it is fucking huge. Lastly, the thing I recommend for you fellas interested in the study of personalities is the Big Five. Now, the Big Five, it's technically not a personality. It's not a personality typing system. It consists of 5 fundamental basic personality dimensions or traits, and each of them is a spectrum. And so, so those 5 traits are extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, neuroticism, and lastly, openness to experience. Now, those are spectrums, not binaries. So it's not like you either are agreeable or not agreeable. It's a spectrum. It's like, how agreeable are you? But it's not how agreeable are you objectively and absolutely. It's relative to the population. So let's say that you take the personality test for the Big Five, and let's say that you have 45th percentile in openness to experience. That means that in a room of 100 random people, you are more open to experience than 45 of the people, and less open to experience than 54 of those people. So it's where you lie on the spectrum relative to the population. This is actually useful. The Big Five is actually useful. It's the result of purely empirical research. And it's accepted by the scientific community, so that says something about its reliability. Look, I spent 2 years studying MBTI very, very intensely. Like, a lot. Like, really, really intensely. I benefited a ton from it, but not enough to warrant 2 years of such intense work and study and online discussions. The Big Five, on the other hand, if treated as a tool for self-improvement, is aimed at objective results, which I think is what you're after. If not, I don't know. While MBTI is fun to play, I mean, it's like a fun plaything for your mind. Don't get me wrong, it's really fun for me to think of MBTI stuff throughout the day, and especially to apply it to different people and to play around with the scenarios in my mind. It's a lot of fun for my mind, but I've learned how toxic it's become for me to continue to spend my mental energy and mental resources on MBTI while disregarding my actual life entirely and actual issues that I need to deal with. It's become it's actually become a like it's actually become something I'm sort of addicted to, which is pretty bad. While if I focus more on the Big Five and what it recommends I do, I'd I'd work a lot more. It is something I need to do in my life, and not just work in my job, but to get my room together. Look at this crap over there. That's a lot of mess. I need to clean that shit up. This whole thing here, I use like 2% of everything that's in there, so I need a lot of cleaning up to do. Mm, I have a lot of like stuff I need to get done, but because of yeah. Anyway, so this is why I recommend you go for the Big Five because MBTI is a waste. All right, that's all I have to say. I hope I made something clear. I hope my 2 years of experience with this is useful to you. I hope it gives you some insights that will allow you to not make the same mistake I did. If you're trying to learn personality types to improve yourself, um, I would start with the Big Five. It will give you results. Um, Actually, just go with the Big Five. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Just go with the Big Five. And if you want to use it to actually understand people in your life, Big Five. Big Five. The Big Five. All right, that's all I have to say.